go to Paul in Riverside, California. Hey, Paul, how are you?
Hi, Christy. Hi, George.
Hey, what's going on?
So right now I'm in escrow on the house. Purchase price is $585. I sold my house, so I have to be out of here tomorrow. We're moving out, and we were going to get this other house next week. So we were going to stay at my mother-in-law's for a week. But it turns out this house is a little bit more than what we were hoping to pay. So they quoted us around $2,600 a month for a 30-year mortgage, and it came back that there's some special taxes on the house and some metal rules and stuff. So the new payment's $2,900 a month.
What's your take-home pay?
Between 80 and 90.
80 and 90,000 a year?
Yeah.
Is what you take home.
And that quote you said is based on a 30-year mortgage.
Yeah, 30-year mortgage.
Well, you said you're in escrow right now.
The take home, actually. Sorry, what was that?
What'd you say?
The 80 and 90, that's my gross income.
So your take-home is a lot less than that then?
Yeah.
We're probably talking 60 take-home? So you're talking about $5,000 a month is what ends up in your bank account?
I think about $6,500 a month.
$5,500 a month, and this mortgage payment on a 30-year it's taking up 50% of your income on a 30-year mortgage. You guys are going to be drowning in this thing.
This is a no, Paul. What can you do instead?
Yeah.
How do you get out of this thing?
I'm not sure. That's why I was thinking we stay with my mother-in-law, but she has a 2-bedroom apartment, and there's me, my wife, and my 3 kids.
But even at $2,600, this thing was way out of your budget without the special taxes.
Even at $2,600?
Yeah, we're looking for 25% of take-home pay on a 15-year fixed rate. So this is way, way, way out. I think you guys are not ready to get a house right now. I mean, it sounds like unless you can stay at the mother-in-law's for a while until you find something that you can afford. Do you guys have any other debt?
I got about $2,500 in credit card. I can pay that off.
Yeah.
We just got the house. So.
Do you have any savings?
Yeah. Well, I made money on my house that I just sold.
Yes. Okay. How much did you make on that?
About $170.
Okay.
So where is that money going? Was that going as a down payment on this new one?
So about $130 was going to the down payment.
And the other 40?
It was just going to go into savings.
Okay. For like your fully funded emergency fund.
Yeah.
Paul, I think we got to slow down here and wait until this thing makes sense for our budget and for our life, because I can feel the anxiety already of what this is going to do to you guys. And so I think you need to back out of this thing, take a pause, rent, stay with family, do what you need to do until, number one, you get all this debt cleaned up, all the consumer debt. We have a fully funded emergency fund. And then whatever money's left over, that's going to become our down payment. We're going to keep building that up. And I want you to do a 15-year fixed rate with a payment that's no more than a quarter of your take-home pay. And I want you to have a good, solid down payment of 10 to 20% or more. Well, that's what's going to give you guys some peace.
Well, it sounds like you're going to have that with the money you just made on this house, with the savings and the being able to pay off the debt, like you said. I think this starts with a conversation with your mother-in-law and just seeing what does this time frame look like, and do you guys rent for a little while, because you don't want to rush a home purchase. It's not this house. We know that. You can't afford this house, which is fine.
Okay.
But so that you don't rush and make a desperate decision, which desperate decisions are almost always bad decisions, I would suggest you guys staying with the in-laws, maybe short-term, very short-term, finding something to rent until you can find the right house that you can afford under the parameters that George just gave you. 15-year fixed rate. And that, so whatever your payment is going to be less than 25% of your take-home pay after you've put that down payment you just said, and you keep your fully funded emergency fund with your $2,500 of debt paid off. So you've got the ability to do that. We just still don't want to rush into a home purchase just because you can, and it's definitely not this house.
Yeah, and Paul, I don't want to crush your dreams here, so I want you to do is keep dreaming, but work towards that dream, and you can jump on to our mortgage calculator at RamseySolutions.com and start to play around with the numbers and see, hey, what would it take for us to do this the right way? So that's a blessing and not a curse. so that we're not house poor, so that we're not pouring all of our income into this house that is probably going to have more repairs and more problems and more taxes, and all of these things are going to crunch your budget even further. Because remember, we have other goals. We need to save for college, save for retirement, pay off the house early, do all kinds of things so that we can retire with dignity. So do it the right way. Don't put yourself in this position.
Yeah, Paul, I think and I know you said the mother-in-law's place is small, but I would just encourage you to start working now, today, on finding somewhere to rent, somewhere that you can afford with your kids, with your family in the interim until you find the right house. And I think you will, and you'll be happier with where you end up because you didn't rush it, and you certainly didn't get yourself into a situation with the house that you can't afford that is just going to absolutely eat up everything they have, where you can't make any decisions. You have no margin. So, yeah, have a conversation with the in-laws, find a place to rent, and then when you're ready, you will find the right house, and you'll be really glad you waited. When people rush, George, it almost always messes things up. Don't rush. Dave Ramsey says this all the time. It's the tortoise and the hare. We want to be the tortoise. Slow and steady wins the race every single time.